welcome to Across the Pond and Back. Squinting a little bit, but it's good to have the sun out, let's face it. Any little drop of sun for us Brits is welcome, isn't it? So today we're gonna look at what's going on with the workplace when you're over 50 especially, but the workplace generally, but over 50 it's even more difficult. So in England, since I've been back in May 23, I have had to work, amazingly. But I can share a little bit of my work history with you for the relevance of today's chat. But my point is, how easy is it for you guys, especially when you get older and you're either being made redundant or you're looking to swap jobs or something? Because it strikes me that something's going on with the workplace. Not sure what's causing it. I wouldn't like to analyse too deeply at this point, but suffice it to say that there is a problem, and especially in the entry level, but even with the professions, it's looking worrying. So as we go, I will probably start the video here and then go to another location so you can see the background. We may be able to get a castle or two in, or a beach, but this actual place where we're at, it's on the kind of south coast of Rhodes, not Rhodes town, but Rhodes Island. And just interestingly, a little bit off point, but we've had quite a bit of rain and cold winds here. So I would recommend it for the beautiful rugged area, but the actual weather this time of year is kind of, you know, better than England, but still pretty chilly, if that makes sense. So I'm going to get right to my main point, because I've seen a significant change maybe to my experiences of getting a job in the UK. Now, I have been very slow and careful to mention this up until now, but I have enough, you know, I've seen enough, put it that way, to experience some ageism. And I'm going to call it, yes, I'm going there, I'm calling it what it is. I have heard from a number of people, both people generally, you know, like over 50 plus, looking for work. They've either left their other jobs or they've been made redundant or whatever. And I'm talking about the UK in 2025. And people are actually being discriminated against. Now, I know that's a strong word and it's used in many different contexts nowadays, but suffice it to say that I've personally experienced it. What about you guys? Anyone else experienced it? So I'll give you a prime example. Recently I was at an interview, and of course I would never divulge who said it, for their sake and their establishment. But he, the hirer, was honest enough to actually admit that yes, they choose the younger ones. In this case, they call them ECTs, early career teachers. So any teachers watching who are a tad bit older, have you experienced this when you've been in the middle of jobs or coming back into the country? I'd love to hear what your experiences are, and I think we should be able to share this without worrying that, oh well, we're just falsely accusing. No, I'm not falsely accusing. I know from personal experience that this is the case. So going back to what this hirer said, he was honest enough to say that yes, they were hiring younger teachers. Boom. So he was honest enough to say that. I think he said they had about 12 shortlisted, which again is quite unusual. Now, story here, when I was in Florida getting ready to come back to the UK, and so that was like the beginning of 23, I kept hearing that there were, oh, you won't have too much trouble getting a job, Steph, because as a teacher in this case, because there's lots of teachers leaving. Anyone heard that? The so-called teacher shortage and teachers leaving. Now I'm saying quote unquote because I haven't done a bunch of research on this. most of the time I speak from my own experience and my own perceptions from that experience. I don't go looking up figures, but I've experienced that generally where I am anyway. Maybe in different parts of the country there might be a teacher shortage, but in my area it's definitely not a teacher shortage. So I'm on what I feel like at the moment is, if there is ageism involved, I'm in a losing battle, sorry. I mean, can you imagine? I have all of this experience, and yes, I've been out of the country for a while, but I did teach over in Florida, so I was keeping my teaching skills up, even though, of course, I fully admit when you come back to the UK, there's been changes in the national curriculum, there's been changes and adaptations, and demands have grown, I believe. That's another issue there, but I'm speaking, I've experienced this. I've experienced the challenge of coming back into the country and needing to fit in and needing to adapt pretty quickly to the demands of the classroom duties, to the demands of the particular schools and the agencies, everyone. So I'm going off the subject a little bit here, but this is the whole context that I've come into, and I bring to my interviews a lot of experience, and yes, there's some room to grow. I'm not a perfect teacher by any means, never said I was. I only present all my myriad different experiences thinking that they would be valuable, but at the end of the day I get the distinct impression, and it's actually more than an impression, that it may be possibly interviewing people of different ages, but really having decided beforehand. So if there are any hirers here who want to speak up and say, no, absolutely not, we're not doing that, that's false accusation, go ahead, please. I'd like to hear. I really would. I'm in the reality business, as I've mentioned in some of my other videos. I want the truth. So what is the truth? Are you discriminating or not? So needs to be said. So that's my major experience that I wanted to share with you today on this video. Another thing that I wanted to share with you, I have heard from a number of people now, and it's not just me with my experience. I've actually been looking and listening since I've been here, coming up for 2 years in May, in the UK I'm talking about. And a number of people, quite a few people, are mentioning and talking and reporting that they have a lot of experience and they're just wondering what's wrong with me. And I've had that feeling, and it can be quite demoralizing, and it can be quite demotivating to even stay in the country, I have to say. So here we are, we're qualified people there. I think there was somebody saying they were qualified for long distance driving and specialist driving. I mean, that's a valuable skill, and yet he hadn't even been given a thank you but no thank you letter, which I find is common as well. So I do think that there needs to be a lot more courtesy, a lot more respect for especially us older interviewees. So if you choose to interview us, please give us a fair chance. That's what my appeal is to hirers nowadays. Whatever profession we're in, whatever entry level, apparently there's tons of people who can't get jobs for months, and they're entry people and younger people. So if there's younger people having a problem getting a job in the UK because of different aspects, things going on, decisions made in the country, then how is it for us older folks? So it's really, this video is really a little bit of a report on how I see, and I'd like to hear from some different people. So it doesn't really seem like the professions are any different. I've heard from a doctor where he is thinking of moving to the States, actually. Nothing really solid yet, but he is a normal you know, kind of general practitioner in this area, not at all convinced that this is the best place for him and his family because of different aspects. He's not treated with the respect that he needs, most likely. But that's my guess. Could be wrong about that, but most likely that's the reason. He's not being paid enough. Granted, he's just started a little while back, but even so, he's gone through all that training, and however we look at it, in the medical field, they have trained for a certain job and they're professionals. But what's going on in the big supermarkets? You know, you look at these jobs and you don't hear anything back. And you're thinking, okay, don't you need our skills? You know, surely there's a job somewhere. So in this case, I would like to hear from younger folks, but of course, when I speak in my videos, I'm kind of focusing on the older age group because of the trials that we're sometimes going through. Anyway, I'm hoping that the audio is reasonable here. I tried to find a nice secluded spot. There's not hardly any traffic. We're in this kind of like little seaside village. I'm taking a few shots and little videos, and if you would like, at the end of the video, I'm going to attach them to the end of the video so I can share with you our little trip here to Rhodes. So I'll be back in the UK next week, back to the cold. Not happy about that, but it's been a wonderful trip here, and it gives you a chance to, it's been a long awaited, by the way. I haven't really had a real vacation since I moved here, and it's been a case of struggling with the work-life balance. So that's the other thing I was just going to mention in this video today. Did you see that go past with the baskets on that truck? That's pretty unique to this area. So yeah, the work-life balance. So I'd like to hear from people. What's your work-life balance like? Has it got better over the time since I've been away? So remember, I left in 2004. When I was teaching in prior to that, I don't remember this thing where we were just working all the time. I don't remember that. I remember having more of a time off. Weekends were more free. You know, school holidays were nice, but I know not everybody has school holidays, but even the holiday time that we had was more freed up somehow. So my work-life balance nowadays, since I got back to the UK, and I'm more and more considering myself as an American expat. So I know that sounds a bit letting the side down for the Brits, but over there in the States for 18 years, I experienced a different culture, different lifestyle, and of course I look at the pluses and minuses. It's not all honey over there, but it's certainly not honey here. So basically my work-life balance, I've seen a big change between then and now. How is your work-life balance? Are you managing to keep down your job plus having downtime with your family or whatever, or just relax and recuperate, recalibrating? I think that would be a good word I'd like to put into this mix, because recalibrating, I find that by the time it gets to Monday, I'm back on the slog again, thinking about the mortgage coming up, thinking about the car insurance coming up, the council tax. Folks, you know how it is. Awful April. Here we are. Welcome to awful April. So this week has been a chosen, well-intentioned break for my son, my daughter and I, and her family, of course, to have an intentional get away from it for a little while, have some time to reflect and look at things in the warm light of day, not the cold light of day, the warm light of day. So I'm going to do my best to put this video together and present a nice little balance. Any questions about Rhodes, please let me know. We haven't managed to see the whole island. It's a pretty long island, so tomorrow we plan on going to see Rhodes Old Town. So I'm going to be adding some shots and pictures and maybe videos into that as well. So it's a little bit of a mixed video here. It's a little vloggy, a little bit normal video. So, but basically this is my video to reflect upon what's happening in the job market, going back to the ageism subject at the beginning. Why? If there's younger people leaving this country, they're going to be a little bit sad, don't you think, that they didn't value the older ones. That's my leaving comment for today. So I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. I'll leave a couple of links for different videos that I think you might like, or learning about more about life as an expat in the UK. If you've got any requests for videos, by the way, I'd be very glad to hear them. I was thinking of doing one about what Americans often ask me to say over in the States, which was quite a hobby really, because they often used to say, how do you say that in England? Aluminum. Okay, no, it's aluminium. Oregano. So hope you've enjoyed this little chat today. Not too many facts and figures. I can look facts and figures up and put them down there if you think that would be valuable, but I would like to hear from somebody. I'd like to hear about your experiences in the older age group, or even just trying to change careers. I was thinking of changing from teaching to something else for the time that I've got left in the workplace. But what do I do? Where am I going to go? It seems like they've already made their decision almost. Anyway, cheerio for now. Hope you enjoy this little mini vlog from the island of Rhodes in Greece. A view from almost the top of Castle Asclepios or something close to that. So we've just climbed a mountain of stairs and then we're just about to do the end. Amazing views. Okay, so we're at the top of the Asclepios, whatever. Look at that amazing view. I think it's only about 300 feet up, but feels like it's more. Above sea level. Anyway, amazing. Some kind of well there. Used to be a place where some refugees, I think, from some war came. So anyway, let's move around here. Amazing. Not sure how old this is, probably about 700 years old. The village down from the castle that we just visited. They have lots of little tavernas. This is so cute. So nice in here. Olives, anyone? This is, of course, Greece. So that's one of their main exports, isn't it? But the amount of different types of olives, never seen that ever. I don't think. So brilliant to have that choice. Just thought I'd share it with you guys. And over here, the famous baklava. I just love this stuff. If we could have this in England all the time, I would be happy girl. Baklava. Anyone tried baklava before? The real stuff, not the stuff that you can buy in famous English supermarkets. Anyway, just sharing, and Over here we've got lots of herb. Okay, we're quite into those oregano herbs, or oregano. Whoops. Talk to you soon.